all of us are on the ground, you know, having conversations, and right now just the investors that were previously maybe looking at buying notes and mortgages, they're like, forget that. I'm not going to spend $100,000 on a note or mortgage that's just going to continue to go down in value.
Right.
I'm going to buy a piece of dirt. I'm going to buy some land or real estate, you know, and that's going to go up and appreciate.
And speaking of buying the dirt, so the development side of the market, the builder and construction side, is flourishing, and not just in Tampa Bay, but throughout the country. Builder confidence is a 6-year high. So newly built single-family homes, builder confidence in that segment rose for an 8th consecutive month in December to a level of 47, which was a 2-point gain from a November reading and the highest level the index has attained since April 2006. So home builders, and again, these are people in the industry that look at it every day, that talk to people, that buy land, that get quoted prices on land. I mean, these are people in the trenches every day, and they're ecstatic about where the market, well, I wouldn't say ecstatic, but they're much happier.
They're highly
ecstatic compared to what they felt in 2008, you know. So across the country, they're reporting some of the best sales conditions they've seen in 5 years. So there's a lot of great things going on with the new construction market. And you see it as you drive around. You see more and more single-family communities popping up. You see more and more pre-construction homes being sold.
Yeah.
2009, find a pre-construction house on the market. You ain't gonna find one.
Right.
There weren't any. People were like, we ain't doing this,
Yeah.
you know.
I don't know if
But
you
now
remember,
they're all over the place.
This was like 08, 09. It was Brian Buffini, who's one of the real estate gurus.
Yeah.
They had predicted 2012, 2013 that there would be a housing shortage, because back in 08, 09,
All the builders stopped.
was the first time in 100 years that every builder stopped building.
Right.
And that period of time, however long it was, a couple of months, they would have a reaction that would take place 4 years from that day.
There's no question. So while the downside of it though is, again, with builder confidence at 6-year high and everything starting to get better, then you've got this, you know, a lot of, obviously builders are self-employed business owners. Their taxes are going out of the roof. And at the same time, rising costs. You know, so an article I saw last week, just as our new home market starts improving, at a time when inflation is running about 2%, lumber prices throughout the country are up 35% from a year ago. Okay, 35%. So the cost of interior walls for new homes has increased more than 14%, and then drywall. Drywall is expected to spike. Gypsum is expected to spike an additional 30% in the coming year. So I hope no one goes to try and find cheaper drywall in China. That's all I can say. Just don't go to China for the Chinese drywall. You know. So, but again, so not only are you know, and that ultimately is going to eventually force prices up on new construction. If the cost to produce that house, if it's more expensive to produce that house, and the business owner has inherently more expenses now, they have to charge more for that house. Sure. So, you know, if you've been out there thinking about buying a new home and you've been waiting for the right time, it's now.
Yeah, it was yesterday.
Right. Jump away from the Christmas tree, stop unwrapping the Christmas presents, and get out there and buy a new home, because in the new year, with these with these costs going up, they're going to rise. So speaking of the rising prices, so you know, it's kind of hard to track the data for new home sales, because they're not all reported through MLS. Some of them are reported through you know, the county, and some builders and some locales, you know, do everything they can to avoid, you know, knowing that, because they don't want it to you know, affect their comps and their sales. But so, however, the new home prices peaked, according to the National Association of Realtors, at $257,000 in April of 2006. It was at a low of $205 in March 2009, and it's up to $237,700 today. Wow. So the peak of $257,000 to today $237,700 for a new home. So that's not bad.
No.
I mean, we heard the market drop 50%. New home sales have not. The prices haven't dropped that much, especially because the cost of things is going up. Taxes go up. That yep. cost has to be passed on. So if you're out there thinking about buying, like I said, it's those costs are going up. I mean, the cost of that home is going to go up, because it's going to cost that builder more to build it, and they've got to get the money from somewhere, or they don't stay in business. So if you want to buy a new home and you're going to wait a year or two, expect to pay more money.
Yeah.
You know, pretty plain and simple. Examples of some of those were throughout Central Florida. There was a community in Southeast Orlando. Lennar sold 25 homes in April at a median price of $162. 7 months later, they sold 65 homes with a median price of $180, about a 10% gain. So, kind of factor that, you know, in. And again, while that's appreciation, it's also increase of cost. You know, that the cost of that has gone up. And it's interesting because there's always been this debate in certain neighborhoods: do I buy or do I build? You know, and you know, for a while there, it was so clear you buy a resale because the build cost, and then it started to look like, but it sounds like it might swing the other direction again, where resale just, you can get a house built in 07 or 08 for cheaper than you can build today. Then, you know, that's what you do. But it's certainly going to depend. But